So we were going to talk about the tiara.
Going?
Yeah.
I wanted to know.
I know, but I just think it would look so fabulous if
Yeah,
you
but
did.
I've only got little tiny tiaras. They're not really worth it.
Princess Anne, the tough-as-nails sister of King Charles, has reportedly stormed in to protect a royal treasure that carries decades of history and pride. The drama, Queen Elizabeth's crown, an untouchable symbol of her reign, became the centre of Anne's fiery stand, and the person in her crosshairs was none other than Queen Camilla herself. Word is, right after the coronation, Camilla threw down a shocking order, banning every princess from wearing tiaras. Anne wasn't about to let that slide. Insiders say this clash wasn't just about glittering headpieces. It was about honour, tradition, and drawing a line that no one expected. Behind those golden palace doors, the atmosphere was electric. Courtiers whispered, fans were stunned, and suddenly Anne's bold defiance turned into a moment that had the whole royal circle applauding her guts. The British royals may dazzle with jewels and grandeur, but this was raw emotion, high stakes, and the kind of power play that reminds everyone the monarchy is still built on sharp rivalries. Anne, famous for her blunt, straight-to-the-point attitude, has always been the no-frills rock of the family, the one who cuts through the nonsense. And this time, she did it in spectacular fashion. Picture it, Camilla, still basking in the glory of her coronation spotlight, trying to grab more power than tradition allowed, only to be met with Anne's ice-cold resistance. The tension was so thick you could practically feel it reverberate through the palace halls. Observers have long noticed Camilla's growing influence since Queen Elizabeth's passing. Stepping into her new role as queen, she's made changes, some welcomed, others downright controversial. But this tiara ban? That was the jaw-dropper. Why on earth would she strip away one of the most glamorous traditions of royal women right after the biggest event of her life? Whispers quickly spread. It wasn't about rules, it was about control. Sources insist Camilla wanted all eyes fixed on her, no rival sparkles allowed. But Anne wasn't fooled. She knew this wasn't just any crown. It was Elizabeth's crown, a priceless emblem of duty and grace, one that many believe should rightfully pass to the next true queen in line. Camilla may have been crowned with Queen Mary's crown, a clever dodge to avoid the storm of wearing Queen Elizabeth's directly, but the whispers say her real ambitions ran much deeper. According to royal insiders, once the coronation wrapped, Camilla quietly rolled out an unspoken rule. No tiaras for the princesses at future events. She dressed it up as modernising the monarchy, making the family feel less flashy and more down to earth. But those watching closely saw something else entirely. A bold power grab designed to dim the glow of others, especially Princess Catherine, whose presence alone steals the spotlight. The hints were already there on Coronation Day. Not a single royal woman sparkled in a tiara, breaking one of the monarchy's oldest traditions. Instead, Catherine appeared in a delicate floral headpiece, beautiful, yes, but noticeably subdued. Anne, true to her no-nonsense style, showed up without adornment at all. And behind this sudden shift, insiders say Camilla's handprints were all over it, her way of ensuring she was the lone jewel commanding attention. Sure, Charles has long pushed for a slimmed-down monarchy, less pomp and spectacle, but the tiara frieze, that had Camilla's personal stamp written all over it. And in the moment, her plan worked. The cameras, the headlines, the awe, it all stayed on the new king and queen, but once the glitter settled, the fallout was impossible to ignore. Because tiaras aren't just shiny ornaments, they're heavy with meaning, status, history, belonging. Every stone tells a story, from Elizabeth's trusted favourites to Diana's legendary pieces. To suddenly strip them away wasn't modernisation. It felt like erasing decades of legacy. And that's exactly where Princess Anne drew the line. Known as the fierce protector of tradition, she reportedly saw this as Camilla stepping way too far into her late mother's territory, rewriting rules that weren't hers to touch. Digging deeper, it becomes clear this was no last-minute decision. Reports from that period claim Camilla influenced the coronation dress code itself. No tiaras, no elaborate gowns, just pared-down elegance. For everyone else. For her, though, the crown stayed firmly on her head. It was spun as a nod to Charles's eco-conscious, green agenda. Critics weren't buying the modernisation excuse. They saw the tiara ban for what it really was: control. Princess Catherine could have easily stepped out in a tiara tied to Diana, the kind of heirloom that turns every head in the room. Instead, she played it safe, opting for a custom piece designed not to upstage. But Camilla wasn't satisfied. Insiders claim she pushed the ban past the Abbey, extending it into state events so her crown would always shine above the rest. Not surprisingly, that didn't sit well with everyone. Princess Anne, who has rocked tiaras from the aquamarine pine flower to her personal favourites, has always been the embodiment of old-school royal glam. Camilla, meanwhile, has beautiful pieces of her own, but hers lack the deep royal bloodline tied to the vault's historic collection. By locking others out, Camilla instantly elevated her own jewels to top-tier status. But was this strategy rooted in pride or pure jealousy? Some believe it was fear of being compared to Catherine, to Diana, to the iconic sparkle that wasn't hers. Whatever the motive, it cracked the palace's carefully polished facade. Commentators were quick to point out the eerie absence of sparkle at post-coronation events, a subtle signal that tension was simmering just beneath the surface. And the roots of this drama, they trace back to Camilla's own coronation crown, a choice that dodged the scandal over controversial diamonds like the Koh-i-Noor. But tiaras? Those have always been personal, shared across generations, with princesses like Beatrice and Eugenie wearing them proudly at their weddings. Under Camilla's new rule, that legacy was suddenly shrinking, and Anne wasn't about to let her mother's traditions fade into history without resistance. True to form, Anne didn't stage a loud rebellion. Instead, she moved with quiet but unshakable resolve. Palace insiders reveal that shortly after the coronation, Anne confronted Camilla directly, challenging her influence over jewels and protocol. What began as a tiara ban escalated into something even bolder. Whispers that Camilla wanted to incorporate elements of Queen Elizabeth's crown into her own regalia, not just for display, but potentially altered for future appearances. Anne didn't hesitate. She shut it down cold. Insiders say she reminded Camilla in no uncertain terms of the late Queen's wishes. Certain jewels were marked for the future, not for the present to be played with. Anne's role here was crucial. Usually seen as the family's steady voice, bridging the gap between tradition and change, this time she was on guard duty. She saw Camilla's tiara ban as a dangerous slope, one that could unravel the legacy her mother built stone by stone. Because Queen Elizabeth had been clear about her jewels, some pieces, especially the most symbolic crowns and tiaras, were intended for Catherine, the next queen in line. And Anne, as her mother's closest confidant, knew that better than anyone. By blocking Camilla's reach, she wasn't just defending a crown, she was protecting the line of succession itself, making sure the ultimate symbols of power stayed in the hands of those destined to wear them. This clash wasn't loud or theatrical, no screaming, no palace-wide showdown, but the silence carried more weight than any outburst. Reports from palace insiders describe the encounter as tense, a test of wills. Camilla remained polite but pressing. Anne stood firm, unshaken. It was a showdown between the seasoned insider who had lived royal duty her entire life versus the latecomer whose power came from marriage, not birth. And in the end, Anne won. She didn't need to shout. Her quiet authority carried the day. Camilla had no choice but to retreat, at least outwardly. The whispers that followed said it all. Bravo, Princess Anne. That's for future Queen Catherine. Those words, reportedly spoken by Anne herself in a private meeting after the coronation, sent royal loyalists into a frenzy. She was responding directly to Camilla's suggestion of using Queen Elizabeth's crown, whether to wear it at a future ceremony or display it front and centre. But Anne's answer was ice-cold and final. This isn't yours to claim. That crown, she insisted, is reserved for the woman who will one day stand beside William, Catherine, the rightful future queen. If Anne's words cut deep, it wasn't just about a crown, it was about respect for the future. Queen Elizabeth had adored Catherine, seeing in her the composure and loyalty fit for the throne. Insiders whisper that the late queen left clear instructions in her will. Certain jewels, certain crowns, were to pass straight into Catherine's hands, bypassing everyone else. Anne, whether acting as executor or simply her mother's most trusted guardian, made sure those wishes weren't twisted. Her words to Camilla weren't sharp for the sake of drama. They were factual, grounded, and immovable. A firm reminder that some traditions stand above personal ambition. Picture the scene. Camilla momentarily stunned, Anne steady as stone, setting boundaries that no one dared cross. And it didn't end there. Anne reportedly doubled down, quietly extending her protection over other historic tiaras, making sure the ban Camilla pushed wouldn't rob Catherine of her rightful sparkle. That move won Anne newfound admiration from royal fans worldwide. To many, she became the fierce aunt who steps in when it matters most, the unshakable protector of the next generation, willing to say what others bite their tongues on. At the centre of all this sits Princess Catherine, the future queen, whose path Anne is guarding like a hawk. Catherine has always carried herself with effortless grace, from the floral headpiece she chose at the coronation to her subtle jewellery that nods to tradition without ever stealing the spotlight. But behind the soft elegance lies a destiny heavy with history, because Elizabeth's crown, this centrepiece of the saga, is more than polished metal and diamonds. It's continuity itself, a bridge between the late Queen's legendary reign and the monarchy's uncertain future. By standing her ground, Anne ensured that Camilla's ambitions didn't touch it, that the crown remained untouched, waiting in its full glory for the day Catherine claims her place beside William as Queen. Catherine's eventual rise as Queen will mark more than just a coronation. It will stand as proof of the monarchy's resilience. And Anne's protection wasn't simply about one glittering crown. It was about securing Catherine's role as the steady heartbeat of the family. As mother to Prince George, Princess Charlotte and Prince Louis, Catherine isn't just preparing to rule beside William, she's actively shaping the future of the dynasty itself. Anne's stand reinforced that foundation, making sure the family's legacy stays unshaken. Palace whispers reveal Catherine was quietly touched by Anne's defiance. Publicly, she kept her trademark silence, but those close to her insist this moment only deepened the bond between the two women. Their relationship, rooted in mutual respect and a shared sense of duty, has grown stronger than ever. In Catherine, Anne sees echoes of her late mother's devotion, a woman who balances regal duty with warmth, poise, and relatability. And what makes it even more powerful? Its tie to Diana's enduring legacy. Catherine often honours William's mother through her jewellery, the sapphire engagement ring, the lover's knot tiara, pieces that carry the weight of memory and elegance. By safeguarding Queen Elizabeth's crown, Anne wasn't just defending tradition. She was protecting a narrative that ties Diana's memory to Catherine's destiny. It was a subtle move, but one with seismic meaning. Anne ensured that the family's story doesn't fracture, that Diana's spirit remains present while Catherine's future as queen remains clear. The tiara ban may have briefly dulled the royal sparkle, but Anne's intervention flipped the script. Catherine is no empty figurehead. She's a mother, a wife, and the future queen, carrying herself with a quiet strength that few can rival. Anne's decisive stand only magnified this truth, sending a clear signal that Catherine is ready for everything ahead, whether it's commanding the stage at public ceremonies or holding the family steady in private moments. Her calm grace under pressure has earned worldwide respect, and Anne's defiance has only amplified it. What's formed is almost a partnership. Anne, the battle-tested guardian of tradition, and Catherine, the modern face of the monarchy's future. Side by side, they guarantee the crown, both literal and symbolic, lands in the right hands, and the weight of that protection runs deep. For Catherine, this isn't just about one day wearing the crown, it's about carrying forward Queen Elizabeth's legacy of service, duty, and quiet dignity. Anne's pushback against Camilla wasn't petty, it was protection. By blocking overreach, she made sure Catherine inherits not only jewels and titles, but the tools, both symbolic and practical, to thrive in her role. From dazzling state banquets to shaping the path of George, Charlotte, and Louis, Catherine's future now glows brighter because Anne had the steel to intervene. But the ripple effects of this alliance can't be ignored. Palace insiders whisper that it's reshaped the family dynamic in ways subtle yet profound. Charles, caught in the middle, faces a delicate balancing act. His loyalty to Camilla weighed against the deep wisdom of his sister. Those close to the throne reveal he's quietly grateful for Anne's handling of the matter. This whole balance mirrors Charles's own leadership, constantly trying to smooth tensions while steering a monarchy under pressure to modernise. But this incident exposed something deeper, the fragile chessboard of power inside the royal family, where private ambition has to bow to tradition. And standing firm in the middle of it, Prince William. As the future king, he's said to fully back Anne, grateful for her fierce protection of Catherine's future. Sources say their bond has only grown stronger, with William now viewing his aunt as a crucial ally who defends the very values he and Catherine stand for. The ripple effect hasn't stopped with him. Insiders claim even Princess Charlotte, young though she is, has taken notice. Already showing flashes of poise, she reportedly admires Anne's balance of duty and heart, seeing her as a role model for how to live royal life with authenticity and grit. It's an early glimpse of the next generation learning directly from the toughest royal in the room. Meanwhile, public reaction has been explosive. Social media lit up with memes, praise, and non-stop chatter, crowning Anne the monarchy's unsung hero. On X, fans trended "Bravo Anne" posts, cheering her quiet rebellion as a pointed slap against Camilla's growing influence. Commentators argued her stand wasn't just about jewels, it was about reinforcing the line of succession, clearing the path for Catherine without question. Even royal blogs have joined in, dissecting the symbolism of the tiara drama. Many fans have flooded timelines with throwbacks to Queen Elizabeth's most iconic tiara moments, reminding the world that these jewels aren't just sparkle, they're living history. And Camilla, ever the polished queen in public, she's carried on with her duties, smiling through it all. But palace whispers say she's been far more cautious since the pushback. The tiara ban, once touted as her bold flex of authority, has now been quietly scaled back. Inside the palace, courtiers describe an atmosphere that's both strained and strangely relieved. Strained because power has clearly shifted, relieved because Anne's intervention stopped the situation from spiralling into an open rift. Some aides close to Camilla were stunned by Anne's defiance, but those who once served Queen Elizabeth quietly praised it, seeing her stand as a much-needed reset, a defence of the monarchy's deepest values. This saga has peeled back the curtain on the monarchy's evolution. Camilla's push for a sleeker, less glittering crown was in step with Charles's vision of a modern monarchy. But Anne's block was a reminder that tradition isn't dead weight. It's the glue that keeps the House of Windsor intact. And insiders are already predicting more moments like this, with Anne cast as the quiet stabilizer, the one who won't let the old foundations crumble. Her defiance didn't just secure Catherine's future, it sent a signal to everyone watching that the monarchy's strength lives in continuity. As one courtier put it bluntly, Anne doesn't just guard the crown, she guards the soul of the family. Thanks to her, the palace may never be free of tension, but it feels steadier, bound by the discipline of tradition and the weight of memory. And looking forward, the horizon gleams. Because of Anne's unwavering stand, Catherine, when her moment comes, will ascend beside William wearing Queen Elizabeth's crown, exactly as the late Queen envisioned. Untouched, uncompromised, preserved as a living link between past and future. Anne herself will likely never sit on a throne, but her role is no less vital. She remains the monarchy's silent sentinel, ensuring jewels, legacies, and values are passed to the right hands, untouched by overreach. And so, what began as a quiet clash over tiaras has opened a new chapter, one where the monarchy must balance modern pressures with the traditions that make it unshakable. This entire saga proves the strength of the royal family's next generation. Catherine, with her unshakable commitment to duty, embodies everything Queen Elizabeth admired: poise, resilience, and a genuine heart for service. And Anne's defence of the crown wasn't just about jewels, it was a powerful vote of confidence in Catherine's ability to carry the monarchy into its next era. Because in the end, the crowns, the tiaras, the ceremonies, they're not just for show, they're promises, they're commitments to the people to uphold values that have defined the monarchy for centuries. By standing her ground, Anne made sure Catherine will have every tool she needs to keep that promise and to dazzle the world when her time finally comes. But don't mistake this as a story about gemstones alone. It's about evolution. It's about a family trying to balance the weight of history with the demands of the present. Camilla may bring her own vision to the role of queen, but Anne's quiet authority acts as the counterbalance, keeping tradition alive while shaping what comes next. That tension guarantees more tales of loyalty, legacy, and clashes behind gilded palace doors. For royal watchers, this is just one sparkling chapter in a never-ending story. What's next? Maybe another collision of tradition and modernity, or a new royal stepping forward with a style all their own. Either way, one thing's clear. The crown isn't just a symbol of power, it's a living legacy. So what do you think of Anne's bold stand? Was she right to block Camilla and safeguard Catherine's future? Drop your thoughts in the comments. And while you're at it, tell us your favourite royal jewel moment. Diana's sapphire ring, Catherine's lover's knot tiara, or Anne's unforgettable aquamarine pine flower. If you made it this far, sound off in the comments. Do you think Anne saved the monarchy from Camilla's overreach? Make sure to like, share, and subscribe if you want more deep dives like this.